When lost and betrayed, my wife cheated with her ex-boss, our daughter chose him over me. So now I'm divorcing a 35 male, met my now soon-to-be ex-wife, 33 female, during uni 12 years ago. She already had a kid when she was 19, but the dad left as soon as she started university. We were dating for 3 months before I met her daughter Lisa. I remember seeing her family for the first time. I was nervous meeting her parents, but when I saw a little girl beside her mom, I was confused. I asked her if that was her little sister or a cousin of hers, and her answer shocked me. When she told me that's her daughter, I thought I misheard her or something. At first, I wanted to dump her for hiding something so crucial from me, but she kept on begging for me to stay, and eventually, I relented. Soon enough, I started to fall in love with her daughter and wanted to be her father figure. Our bond grew stronger over the years, and in early 2019, before the pandemic hit, we got married. In late 2021, I adopted Lisa, and in early 2022, my wife gave birth to our son, Mark. After my son was born, my wife made the choice to stay at home for the time being, and I was completely fine with that. Everything was going perfectly until a few months ago. I started noticing my wife increasingly spending time with her friends. At the time, I didn't say anything, since, in my mind, being at home all day probably meant eating at her, and I didn't want to seem controlling. The thing that made me suspicious was her constant texting and going out of the room for calls. She never did that for anyone besides this one friend of hers. I asked her about it, but she gave me some vague answers about gossip. The moment that took it too far, though, was when I came home last week and saw her outside talking on the phone. This wasn't out of the ordinary. I remember seeing my son on the floor crying alone. I was pissed at my wife for just leaving him alone in the house, but when I went to pick him up and smelled the horrible stench coming from him, I was beyond furious. His diaper seemed like it hadn't been changed since that morning. I quickly changed his diaper and rushed outside with him in my arms. I was beyond pissed. I snatched her phone from her hand and bolted back inside. I locked my wife outside to have a talk with this friend of hers alone. I had my suspicions about who it really was, and when I heard a male voice calling out her name and asking who was there, I immediately knew what was going on. He ended the call as soon as he heard my voice. I then proceeded to lock the front door to make sure my wife couldn't enter the house at all and proceeded to screenshot as much of their chat as I could, then sent them to myself before deleting them on her phone. About 5 minutes later, she was still banging on the glass door leading to the backyard. I reluctantly opened it and was met with a smack in the face. Remember, all of this is happening while I'm holding my toddler in my arms. As soon as she realized what she just did, she apologized profusely, started crying, and tried to hug me. I pushed her away and told her to meet me at the dining table. I told my daughter to quickly take care of the baby so I and her mom could have a quick chat. I just kept it simple. I told her this was her only chance to even have a sliver of a chance of getting me back. If she messed up this talk, it was over on the spot. No lies, nothing. She kept on trying to apologize and to say it wasn't that serious. I reminded her that she not only betrayed me, but she also could have easily done serious harm to our son by leaving him alone in the house like that. I then simply asked, "Who? For how long? And did you have sex?" She replied with her ex-boss, Daniel, 6 months, and she didn't answer the last one. I kept on reminding her that this was her last chance. She then just simply nodded. I then asked her if they used protection. To this, she started crying and started begging me for forgiveness. She said she would block him then and there, would never contact him again, and I could sleep with any woman I wanted from now on, yada yada. I guess Lisa heard the commotion and came downstairs. I told her to go back up, but she just walked to my wife and asked her if I knew about Daniel. Up to this point, I was calm, but upon hearing this, I swear even I started tearing up. I asked Lisa if she knew all along, and she said yes. At this point, I'm full on crying, and I asked her why she didn't tell me. She responded with, "Because unlike you, Daniel buys me the things I want without having to beg." I then asked her how she could possibly do this to her dad. She responded with the "You're not my real dad" crap. My wife screamed at her upon hearing what she said. At that point, I couldn't bear any of this anymore. I just grabbed my son and got into the car. Me and my son are currently staying at my parents' house. I've basically been drinking myself to sleep every day. Thanks to the saint of a mother I have, my son is being taken care of right now. I'm beyond hurt. I've canceled my ex-daughter-in-law's tuition, all her extracurricular activities, and I've contacted a divorce lawyer. He's going to serve my wife this Friday. My wife and Lisa have been blowing up my phone non-stop with apologies. I simply responded with, "Get a lawyer, and tell that ungrateful thing of yours to start calling Daniel her dad." I'm disowning her. And then I blocked my wife. I didn't respond to Lisa, I just simply blocked her. I guess my wife told our friends what her and Lisa did, and now they have been texting me nonstop. They understand how I feel but believe I'm going too far by divorcing my wife without hearing her out. They also keep telling me that disowning Lisa is definitely going too far and that she's only a kid and didn't understand what she was doing. I just can't get over the things she told me. I've worked my ass off to give my wife and daughter luxuries I could have only dreamed of as a kid, and this is how I get paid back. Lisa, 13 years old, is old enough to understand that hiding her mom's affair is bad and definitely purposely used those words to hurt me. But a part of me believes that there is still hope. A few family counseling sessions later, and we can go back to living the life I once considered a fairy tale. I'm beyond destroyed by this whole situation. A part of me just wants to see them burn in hell, but the other part of me believes there is still hope. Am I really going too far? Is there still hope? Am I the idiot for disowning my daughter and divorcing my wife? Some relevant comments. Not the idiot for these feelings. Your wife betrayed you, and it sounded like she was poisoning your daughter against you. How else would she know details and the name of the man her mother was cheating with? Add the neglect to your son. You have every right to a divorce. As for the daughter, she is still young, only 13, and at the height of puberty. Lots of things come with that, and no child stands a chance against an adult who is lying to them, gaslighting them, and crossing boundaries, especially if it's their own mother. That relationship might be salvaged with family therapy if you choose to move forward and work it out. Good luck, and keep us posted with updates. Not the idiot, but you need to stop drinking. It's game time, and you need to be at your best. I'm sorry about your daughter's behavior. Honestly, fucking the friends who want you to listen to your cheating wife. I would have one more conversation with Lisa and tell her why you are leaving her and how her actions hurt you. You've done no wrong. Your wife is the one at fault here, and a divorce is reasonable. Your daughter seems to act a bit odd to me. I feel like your wife might have trash-talked you to her behind your back. The hard thing is that she is in her teenage years, which will build resentment toward the parents, and if she can't be taught what is wrong and right, you probably won't hear from her until she realizes it during her 20s. But you don't have sway anymore unless you want to push for custody. All you can do is to stay the kid's father and say you're there to talk to her when she wants. Hopefully, she will realize it and gravitate toward you. Update. First of all, I just want to thank you guys for the support you've shown me. This past week has been the hardest period of my life. Seeing the love you shared with the woman you considered your partner for life just vanished, hit me worse than anything else. To those who have privately messaged me, thank you, and please be patient with me. I have over 100 unread messages to date and will need a bit of time to respond to all of them. I just want to update you on the things that have happened since I posted. First of all, I'm happy to report that I've quit the alcohol. It was tough, but seeing how my life was basically falling apart due to my constant drinking really was a wake-up call for me. As someone kindly suggested, I asked my mom to throw out all the alcohol in her house. The first couple of days were tough, with me being more depressed than ever, but I'm doing much better now. As for my wife, I've had a brief conversation with her, and I have halted all divorce proceedings for the time being. There is still a lot to navigate and a ton of logistics involved, and my decision for divorce seemed a bit in the heat of the moment. I'm not saying that I'm going back to her, I'm just saying I need to reevaluate everything again. What she did was beyond hurtful and irresponsible. If I were to get back with her, she has to do a lot to make up for this mess. I have removed half of the money in our joint account and have stopped paying the lease on my wife's car. I asked her the following questions. Has she been in contact with Daniel since our falling out? She said she has completely cut off contact with her ex-boss and is willing to do anything to make our marriage work. Why did she go to him and meet him in the first place? She said she honestly doesn't know. She met him at a get-together her old company held, and, in her words, they just clicked. They started hanging out as friends, and soon things grew out of hand. She started bringing him over to the house when I was at work. Did she have feelings for him while they worked together? She said she found him cute but left it at that. They never did anything or said anything outside of work. I then started asking her questions about our daughter Lisa. Some of you guys rightly pointed out that she probably poisoned Lisa against me. Why did she bring Daniel around our daughter? Lisa once caught them making out on the couch, and when she threatened them to tell me, they quickly shut her up with gifts and a new phone, etc. Soon enough, Lisa actually started to like having Daniel around because of the gifts, etc. Did she badmouth me to Lisa? To this, she just went silent and started crying. I then pressed a bit more, and she finally blurted out that she started telling Lisa that Daniel was her biological dad. After this, I myself started crying and just hung up. I did see a change in my daughter around the same time, but I just chalked it up to her being a teenager. Hearing this just broke my heart even more. I also want to thank you guys for telling me that it wasn't right to put all the blame on my 13-year-old daughter. I wasn't thinking straight at the time, and when I started sobering up, I did sort of realize the mistake I made. I have unblocked my daughter and have been texting with her since yesterday. She has apologized to me, and it seems like my wife, in desperation to get me back, has confessed the truth to my daughter. My daughter told me that she has stopped talking with her mother since she confessed. I apologized to her for the comments I made about disowning her, and we have planned to meet up tomorrow at the local park. I again just want to sincerely thank you guys for the support and the advice. Honestly, I couldn't have navigated this mess alone. While being intoxicated, only God knows what would have happened if I didn't reach out. I also want to apologize for the drunken rant I went on in the comments. I'm beyond embarrassed at the things I said. Again, thank you all for the support, and I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Edit. I forgot to mention the DNA testing on my son. I do definitely acknowledge it being a possibility, but I am neither mentally in a place to be able to cope with the stress of something like that nor ready to face the reality that I might look at him differently if the test turns out negative. I'll do it eventually, but not now. During this mess in the comments, many people said divorce is the correct option. Man, it seems like you're still holding on to it, but once a cheater, always a cheater. Yes, she'll change, but how long until she does it again? Are you willing to go through all of this again? I know that, and I'm not planning on getting back together with her. This woman brought her AP into your house. She doesn't respect you, and she hasn't for a long time. This isn't a one-time drunken thing, which arguably still is not forgivable. She brought her AP around your kids, neglected your son to chat with him, and lied to your daughter so she'd be cool lying to you. She actively had your daughter lie to you. There's no way she actually loves you. She loves the financial support and doesn't want to lose that, which she won't, because you know she's going to hop right back over to Daniel if you split. If she's not currently still in contact, I bet she is and is just lying as she has for over 6 months. I'm not one of those Reddit people who immediately jump to divorce as an answer. I agree that marriage is something serious, and commitments should be heavily evaluated. But dude, is this what you want for your children? Do you want them to think it's normal to stay with someone who doesn't respect them, lies to them, and can't be trusted? You're setting the example right now. You deserve better, and so do your kids. She's a serial liar and cheater. It's just a matter of time until she's effing another man in your bed again, or couch, or wherever. Story 2. I, 22 male, and my girlfriend, 22 female, have been together for 5 years. We've been together since high school, and until recently, I've always considered her to be my future wife. I've even bought a ring and was planning on proposing over the coming months. Last weekend, it was my girlfriend's best friend's birthday. She and her friends booked a private lounge at a club. Obviously, I didn't go since, 1, I wasn't invited, and 2, I hate clubbing or anything associated with that. I was actually looking forward to spending an evening alone and just binging Netflix or something. My girlfriend left around 9 p.m., and I just crashed on the couch and watched some YouTube. Well, around 11 p.m., I started to feel this distinct stomach pain, the same pain you experience when someone hits you in the nuts. It wasn't bad at first, and I just thought my body was playing some tricks on me. But in the span of about 5 minutes, the pain just kept getting worse until I was basically stuck in the fetal position on the couch. Initially, I just thought the pain would go, but then I pulled down my pants, and it felt like my right testicle was starting to swell. The moment I tried to get up and grab my phone to inspect whatever the fuck was happening to me, I just collapsed to the floor. That was probably the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. Imagine being pelted in the nuts over and over again. I did manage to crawl to the table next to the couch to get my phone. I immediately tried calling my girlfriend, but she declined my call. I then texted her that something was wrong and she needed to come home immediately. The club she went to is like a 5-minute walk from our apartment. I just put the phone down and started throwing up because of the pain. After throwing up for like a minute, it felt like the pain started to cool down a bit, and I grabbed my phone again. That's when I saw her response. She just replied with, "What is it?" I tried calling her again, but as expected, she declined again. I then texted her that I needed to go to the hospital now. She then asked, "For what?" And I just replied, "My balls hurt." I then dialed emergency services. I explained my situation to the emergency responder, and she asked if there was somebody that could drive me to the hospital. Stupidly, I said yes. I thought my girlfriend would be home soon and that she would drive me to the hospital. I felt embarrassed to call an ambulance because my balls hurt. After I told the emergency responder this, she told me that she would call me again in 10 minutes to make sure I was being driven to the hospital. I then put down the phone and went back to vomiting on our carpet. Again, after the pain went away for a bit, I checked my phone and saw that my girlfriend just responded with laughing emojis. I again tried to call her, but as expected, she declined. She texted me, "This isn't the time to play games." She then told me that if I texted or called her again, she would block my number. I again tried calling her, but she declined. When I tried calling her a second time, I realized she actually blocked me. I went back to curling on the floor, and now I started shivering. At this point, I didn't care about being embarrassed and just called emergency services again and asked for an ambulance. It felt like an eternity, but the ambulance eventually came and rushed me to the hospital. I don't remember much of the surgery since I was sedated, but I remember waking up eventually and my right testicle being stitched together. The doctor informed me that I had a testicular torsion and was extremely lucky to reach the hospital in time. I could have easily been forced to surgically remove my testicle. I checked my phone and saw the missed calls and messages my girlfriend left me. In summary, she came home from clubbing and smelled the vomit in our apartment. When she saw the vomit on our carpet, she got mad and tried searching the apartment to find me. When she realized I wasn't there, only then did it hit her that I was actually being serious. I just texted her the hospital I was staying at and my room number, then went to sleep. I woke up the next morning and saw my girlfriend sleeping on a couch next to my bed. After she woke up, she started bombarding me with apologies. She thought I was joking, that I was trying to ruin their night, etc. I didn't have the energy to argue, so I just kept quiet. I was beyond hurt by what she did, and I wanted to break up with her then and there. Why the fun would somebody ignore messages where their partner is begging them to come home? Not only that, she stayed in the club until 3 a.m., and didn't even consider going home to check on me. She did stay with me in the hospital for the remaining 2 days I was admitted there and did take good care of me, but I was still beyond pissed at her. Ever since coming home yesterday, I've been wanting to dump her, but at the same time, I feel like she genuinely thought I was joking and made a mistake. I feel conflicted and don't know how to proceed in this situation. Would I be the idiot if I dumped her? Am I overreacting? How would you guys navigate this mess? Edit. Just to clarify. No, I never had an issue with her going out in the first place or have ever pulled pranks to get her to come home from a night out. BTW, thank you guys so much for the support. I'm beyond blown away. Some comments. Not the idiot? Have you ever given her reason to doubt your truthfulness in similar situations? If you're not the type to be controlling over a girl's night out and you've never claimed a medical emergency to manipulate her, she is totally in the wrong. Her behavior could be indicative of deeper issues. It's said she might have been intoxicated by the time you sent the first text. Alcohol can make a kind, responsible person dumb as a rock fast. It is likely that her friends were drunk too and encouraging her to ignore you and party on. You need to have a serious conversation with her about what's happened. Consider how she's treated you in the past when you've been ill and her overall behavior. A good person can make a bad mistake. If she is truly sorry and will learn from this, you may want to forgive her. If she blames you or minimizes her part in it, move on. Info. Why would she think you were trying to ruin her night out? Were you upset about her going out that night? Do you have a history of trying to spoil her plans? I mean, she knows I'm not a fan of clubs in general, but no, neither was I upset at her for going, nor do I have a history of spoiling her plans. Dude, break up with her. Find yourself a girl that actually cares about you, even if it was a prank. She could have come home and then kick your sass and go back. It's 5 minutes away. This isn't someone you can depend on. I mean, that's the main issue for me as well. If I wasn't in that much pain, I know I could have phrased it differently, but she could have literally walked a few minutes to check up on me. Update. First of all, I would like to clear up some misconceptions brewing in the comments section of my last post. No, I have never pulled any malicious pranks on my girlfriend to get her to come home early from a night out or anything. Neither do I have an issue with her going out, as long as she doesn't come home at like 6 a.m. No, I've never blown up her phone like that while she was out with friends. We usually go out together since we share the same friend groups. Here are mine and her messages from WhatsApp, in order, since people thought I just texted her my balls hurt, or something. Here are mine and her messages from WhatsApp, in order. Me. After she declined my first 2 calls. Her name, please come home, something is wrong. Her. Can't talk right now, what is it? Me. Tried calling her again. I need to go to the hospital. Her. For what? Me. Tried calling her twice again. My balls hurt, please come now. Something is wrong. Her. Laughing emojis. Me. Tried calling her again twice after calling emergency services. Her. I swear, don't bother me again, or I'm blocking you. Let me effing enjoy my night out. At this point, the pain was too bad to try anything with her anymore, and I just called an ambulance. Her next message, after unblocking me at 2 a.m. Why the fucking is there vomit in the living room, and where the fucking are you? Why is the front door unlocked if you left somewhere? She then went into a full mental breakdown as she realized I was being serious. Over 70 messages followed. Yes, it was stupid of me to expect her to drive me to the hospital since she was drinking, but again, in that type of pain, you don't think clearly. I think I needed her more for moral support, and I did it out of pure instinct. Not immediately calling an ambulance was also stupid of me. I was in a lot of pain but stupidly, at the time, thought that whatever I was going through would eventually calm down and driving to the hospital would be better than calling an ambulance. Also, in hindsight, being embarrassed about calling an ambulance over my balls was definitely also really stupid. The amount of mental gymnastics some of you did in my comments to paint me as some sort of dweeb or emotionally needy person for bothering my girlfriend was truly mind-blowing to me. I promise you, if my girlfriend was in my position and I ignored her, none of you would be defending me. For the update, thank you for all those who wished me a speedy recovery. I'm doing much better now. Not being able to go to work for the next 3 weeks is definitely a bummer. I work for my dad's construction company, and my job requires lifting a lot of heavy weights. I'm also prohibited from having any sex for the next 2 to 3 weeks as well. I might have also developed some trauma due to the pain. I randomly get the same sensation again, and it's driving me nuts. See what I did there? As for me and my girlfriend, it's complicated. As so many of you and my mom told me, 5 years is definitely a long time to be just throwing away without having a proper conversation with her. So, I did just that. I told her how hurt I felt by everything and mentioned the following points. Her ignoring my messages and declining my calls. Yes, clubs are loud, but where I'm from, there are smoking areas where you can definitely have a conversation over the phone. Blocking me after I tried calling her. Her not checking on me once, even though the club she went to is only a 5-minute walk from our apartment. Her being angry about the vomit instead of being concerned. After hearing all this, she got defensive and told me that I could have conveyed my situation better and that she genuinely thought I was joking. She said she was drunk and wasn't thinking clearly. She also told me that it couldn't have been that painful, and that I was over-exaggerating. I then told her yes, I could have phrased my messages better, and I apologized for that. But I also described the pain I was in and told her that I barely had the strength to text her, let alone send her a detailed description of what was happening to me. I definitely couldn't think straight throughout everything. After hearing what I said, she started crying and apologizing for what she did. She told me if she knew how serious it was, we wouldn't be having this conversation. She also apologized for being mad over the vomit, saying that she was drunk and tired and was just expressing frustration. I then asked her why she thought I was joking and if she was cheating on me, because this was seriously out of character for her. Hence, why I immediately trusted her with this. She started crying harder, and she looked like I just slapped her in the face. She told me that she just thought I was being insecure about her being in the club with a bunch of guys. She swore she wasn't cheating on me and would never do something like that. We then hugged for a solid 10 minutes. The next part was really hard for me, but I told her I need some space to gather my thoughts and told her she needs to stay with her parents for the time being. She immediately started having a mental breakdown and asked if I was breaking up with her. I told her I wasn't sure and needed time to see if I still trusted her after all of this. What she did was beyond disrespectful. How could I trust someone with my life after they pulled something like this? I then told her that we are young, and this mess was mostly caused by our immaturity. This entire situation was an important life lesson for the both of us, regardless of if we stayed together. After begging a bit more, she put her head down, started packing a few essentials, and left. She told me she would be willing to do anything to make up for this and that I could take as much time as I needed. She then gave me a big kiss and left. That was 2 days ago, and this is where we currently stand. I still give her updates on my healing, but besides that, we don't contact each other. I'm really torn right now. I still don't have that trust in her, but her owning up to her mistake shows that she knows she messed up and is remorseful. This is definitely something out of the ordinary for her, but there will have to be major boundaries and new rules set. I can think of the following boundaries. If she blocks me again for anything, she's blocking herself from ever seeing me again. Ignoring my messages will not be tolerated anymore. If she goes out alone again, she has to pick up if I call, regardless of the situation. As many of you suggested, having an emergency code like hospital, or something similar would probably have to be implemented. I'm not going to abuse any of these boundaries, But I just want peace of mind knowing that my partner has my best interest at heart, even when she is physically not around me. But I don't know. I just want to thank you guys for everything. This whole experience was definitely an eye-opener for me. Should I get back together with her? If yes, would my demands be reasonable, and could I add something more? Would I be the idiot if I dumped her over this whole saga? Relevant comments. Here's the thing. Your texts might have been vague or funny to someone drunk or too busy to really care, but when they text you back dismissively and you immediately call them a bunch of times, even an uncaring, drunk idiot might think, maybe there might be something really wrong, and they should possibly answer the effing phone. Sounds to me like she was probably having a laugh with her club friends about how insecure you were, and now she's feeling guilty. But that's still a problem, isn't it? Both those things, that she didn't believe you and that she had a laugh. Not the idiot, but tough call on the relationship. Girls are usually more mature than guys, but your post is very level-headed, and so is your response. She sounds like she's 14. I guess I'd ask her what her reaction would be if roles were reversed. I have a feeling she wouldn't give you grace to explain. She's probably gone bad-mouthing you to her club friends. Do not get back together with her. You said she was remorseful. It sounds like the only thing she was remorseful about was that she has to face consequences, like moving back to her parents' house. She was still trying to argue with you about conveying your situation better. What in the gaslighting BS network is this? Conveyed your situation better with what? Maybe a conversation on the phone? Oh wait, she ignored and blocked you. OP, she showed her true colors. Also, kind of weird that you share the same friend group yet weren't invited to her best friend's party. Even stranger, she was so adamant about staying. I would speak to someone in your friend group that was there and ask how she was acting while this was going down. Might give you some clarity on how she really feels about you. It literally would have taken her 10 minutes of walking to make sure you were okay and head back to the club if you were. She broke your trust in a similar way to cheating, even if she's not cheating. All those rules and trust issues you will have if you stay together, it's not worth it. Chalk this up to an important life lesson for both of you. Thankfully, you've been saved from a future marriage where your SO values clubbing more than your balls.